And now for something completely different. I have an old radio to get back in working shape. I have this little GE AM FM radio, two-way power. This would have been made around the 49th week. Made on a Thursday, 49th week of 1979. If we look at the date code, 4949. Because how GE's date code worked was the first digit was the day of the week, with 1 being Monday, 2 being Tuesday, 3 being Wednesday, 4 Thursday, and 5 Friday, 6 Saturday, and 7 Sunday. The second digit indicates the year that the unit was made, and it basically started in the early 70s and ended in the early 80s, but they had gone away from this by 1989, so this would have been a 1979 radio. 49 is the 49th week. RCA and GE used to use similar coding. Well, they were the same company, right? GE owned RCA at the time. This is a little IC radio, and we're going to check it out and see what needs to be done to make this thing work properly. It's been many years since it's been used. So I'll take this opportunity to show you guys the inside of one of these little portable radios. And there it is. It's a tiny little transformer. Of course, you don't need much current on a radio of this type. There's also a battery compartment on the back here with takes 4 AA cells, and it's kind of funny that they put a 9-volt type adapter clip on it to hold the battery. So in theory, even though this radio is rated at 6 volts, in a pinch you could put a 9-volt battery on here and it would work, because 9 volts isn't going to hurt the components themselves. They'll easily handle running at 9 volts instead of 6. And this is a single IC solution. Looks like to be 2 transistors in here. Little AM bar antenna. It has a FM telescopic antenna, and your AC power connects down here. So there's a little rectifier here, filter capacitor over there. That probably needs to be changed, and that's probably all it needs, is the filter capacitor to be changed. We'll plug it in and see if this thing even works. I was told it hasn't worked for a while, so maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but it hasn't been used in years. Let's see if anything works. Controls are dirty. Oh, it actually still works. Noisy.
All get behind. To participate in innovative technology pilots, visit bbc.com/pilots.
Believe BC. Creating wettable democracies with disinformation,
Or this.
That's my own in-house AM. There's the same thing on FM. Hear a bit of hum in there in the background. Hear it? I think the that capacitor needs to be changed. This one here, it's humming a bit, and this is discolored. This at one time would have been blue, but it is changed to almost a gray color just from age. Let's just change that little capacitor on here. How difficult is this going to be? I don't want to lose my tuning dial. I don't want the string to come undone. I think I can lift the circuit board out and not have the string go with it. I think it just I think this whole thing just comes apart actually all as one unit, so I don't have to worry about the string coming off. This radio could probably end up being a patio radio for me. Okay, where is that capacitor? It's down here. Can I get at it without having to? Yeah, I can get at it without having to remove the bracket. Although I think the bracket might come off on this without losing the tuning string. If I just pop out these clips, this might just lift off. I don't think it's screwed down to the tuning shaft. I might be in luck. There we go. Well, yeah, I'm in luck. Okay. Switch came off. Now I can clean the switch. But now we have access to the circuit board. To say it was pretty simple design. This was, relatively inexpensive radio, but it certainly has lasted. That's for sure. Little more of a relaxed pace working on something like this. 470 microfarads at 16 volts. Let me find one while the soldering iron heats up. I had a user talking about stress, saying it was a good thing I got out of the business before it stressed me out. Well, I was never really that stressed out. The guy that I worked for was, though, but I don't know if I've ever told you guys the story why I actually left the business. There was a couple of reasons. One was I could see the writing on the wall as far as a future in the repair business. I could see long before the bottom fell out that it certainly was going to fall out. But ultimately, I left because of the guy that I worked for. I don't know if I've ever told you guys this story before, but we'll check this capacitor out, see how it looks after all these years. So say this thing's looking kind of discolored. That would have been a blue color, I think, when it was new, like the rest of them, because it's the same brand as all the other caps that are in there. Looks to be, but it should have been I would think a blue color like that. You can see it's still got some of the blue tone to it, but it certainly doesn't look blue like it did before. Let's just see how this is for capacity wise. That's actually gone up big time. It's only 470 and it's measuring 500 and what was it? Gone up big time. That's a telltale that it's on the way out, because as capacitors dry out, they tend to go up big time in value. We'll look at this ESR on this one and see. So ESR wise, 0.3, and a new one, 470, should be no worse than 0.18. We'll take a look at a new one. So this is a new cap. 0.15. So yeah, this one's in spec. This is the 25 volts. So yeah, even that's looking a little high. But hey, it's a new cap. So we'll put this one in. Anyway, where was I going? Oh yes. The day I left the service business, it's a long story. I hope you guys have got time for this. There was a big problem with Sony at the Sony factory with a lot of their big TVs, their tube TVs. They had flyback problem, flyback failures. And I changed a lot of flybacks, and they always took out the horizontal output transistor, always. If the flyback failed, the horizontal output transistor was going to short. But it didn't happen on every single set, because you see, Sony had realized that there was a problem, and they changed the design of the transformer so that newer production didn't have the same problem that the early production did. But we didn't know where the cutoff was. They didn't tell us, everything below serial number range of 5,000 is defective. That information was known by Sony, but it wasn't known by us, the service centers. So when we got one of these TVs in, you didn't know if the transformer was shot until you replaced the transistor. Yes, there's ringing tests that you can do. Had the guy I work for not been so cheap and bought a proper TV analyzer, I could have ring tested the transformer, but he wasn't going to spend the money on it, and I certainly wasn't going to spend the money on it. So basically, we'd repair the fault. We would change the transistor and monitor the set, put on a scope, look at the waveform. If the transformer was bad, as we brought the voltage up on a variac, if you saw a lot of distortion on the waveform, then you had a bad transformer. You change the transformer. Pretty simple. So we had all these TVs that were faulting, and I would always quote the customer for a transformer and the output transistor, always. And in this case, it was no exception. I quoted the guy the transformer, and I quoted him the transistor, and got the transistor in, popped the transistor in without putting in the transformer, and checked it out, and everything looked good. Great. I just saved the customer $140 not having to replace the transformer. The problem is the boss, well, we'd been doing this for forever. Like, I had been keeping a transformer and a transistor in stock so that we could quickly turn around repairs, get them turned around within a day. And for years and years and years, that was fine. There was never any issue with stockpiling one transformer and one transistor for a known high failure rate component. Then one day the boss comes up to me and he says to me, where's this transformer? I see that you charged the guy for the transistor, but you ordered a transformer and you didn't put it in the TV. And I said, well, it's because I didn't need it. I ordered one in, but it wasn't necessary. I put it in stock. Get it for me. So I went and I picked it up off the shelf, and he proceeds to ship it back to Sony and deduct the postage and the restocking charge from my paycheck. About a week later, I got another TV in. I knew it was going to need a transformer, but I did not order one. I did not quote for the transformer. I quoted the customer just the price of the transistor, knowing that there was a 50-50 or better chance that the transformer was going to be gone, but I was kind of pissed off, so I quoted just the price of the transistor. Of course, the transistor comes in, and it's the transformer's gone. So, of course, now I've got to phone the customer and tell them, hey, it's going to be another $140. Well, you can imagine the fireworks that ensued from that. The customer was all pissed off and bent out of shape. So he phones up screaming about the price going up. So then the boss comes back and screams at me for not quoting him. And I said, hey, I'm just following your rule. You don't want to stock any parts, so I'm gonna order them as they come in. You're telling me you don't want me stocking any parts that you may have to sit on for a couple weeks until they get used. So anyway, order the part. Well, the part that he had just sent back less than a week prior to this is now on back order, and we waited 5 weeks. I'm getting yelled at every day. Customers coming in yelling at the store because his TV is taking longer to fix, and I'm getting yelled at because the part that I had in stock that the owner sent back is now on back order. And talk about stress. The part finally comes in. I put the part in the TV, send it out. The next day I go to work. As soon as I arrive, the boss is there and he says he wants to have a word with me. I say, okay, what's going on now? You know, I'm not late. I know that. I'm looking at my watch. I'm on time, so I can't say I'm 30 seconds late. And he jumps all over me because I only charged freight for the one part, and we had to get a second part shipped in, which costs extra freight, and I didn't pass those charges on to the customer. Therefore, the charges were going to come off my paycheck for the extra part. That was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. I walked out the door and never looked back. Goes on this way. There, that's how that switch goes on. Might not hurt to give that switch a shot of cleaner and the volume control while I've got it apart. One thing I should note on here is the orientation of the capacitor. Most circuit boards, they indicate the negative side with a marking, like the board here. It's got the white paint on the board. And in most cases that indicates the negative terminal. I looked at this when I took it out, so I know what way it came out. But if you look at all the other caps, it's the white side for the positive. See, white side for positive. This is the negative side here, and you can see the white on the other side there. So this is the opposite. The white side indicates the positive terminal on this unit. And as I say, most other types of equipment, it's the negative that's marked with the white. So we'll give this volume control a bit of a shot. I guess I got to take the actual knob off to get cleaner in there. And this control we can actually lift up and spray right into the control itself. There. That will clean that control quite nicely. We'll plug it in. That switch could probably use a shot of cleaner too, so we'll just do that while I've got it apart. Okay, let's just reassemble this little piece of junk and put it back together. There's not much else I need to do on this one. And they go together real simple. Just one, it was just one screw that held it together. One screw that held this entire bracket in place. And that's it. dude. Auto level control. Gotta love it. The AM transmitter has auto gain, auto level control, so when there's a silent portion, you can hear all the background noise come up.
Contemplate. First forming on your eyeball, but then her kid. Adding.
Or fellas, whichever's your pleasure.
Especially on a beautiful day like today. Once you're out on the bridge itself, you're moving better in both directions, and then trying to leave North and West Vancouver, not really seeing it.
From Subway restaurants footlong, where select varieties are now $7.
$7 for 12 inches of deliciousness.
Yes.
Good old AM. Good old AM band. All that noise. There we go. This one's all taken care of. Thanks for watching. We'll catch you in the next one. Bye.